Hi everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Stacy. I am the Palladian Awakener. So today we're going to talk about the exciting news of Saturn moving into the sign of Pisces and what that means as a collective possibly, and also what that means for each and every one of us. So let's get started here. So Saturn will be moving through the sign of Pisces starting March 7th of 2023 until February 13th of 2026. So Saturn takes approximately 28 to 29 years to move around the entire zodiac, and he spends approximately 2.5 years in every single sign. Now, the last time Saturn was in Pisces, because we always look back as to when these planets were last in these signs, March of 1964 to March of 1967. And the most recent would be May of 1993 to April of 1996. So think back to those times, of course, depending on your age. For some of you, maybe you weren't even alive yet. You weren't even born yet. So, but for those of you that were around, absolutely think back to those times. You know, what was occurring in your life? What was occurring on the planet? What was occurring in your country? What was occurring in your family? Now, I'm not saying the exact same things are going to happen, because that's not true, but you might see just some additional layers, let's say, that sort of, or themes that might come up again during this new cycle. So I had to look back during these age brackets to see if anything really stood out to me. And again, I was looking for anything Saturn-like or Piscean-like, which we'll get into a little bit here. But anyway, some highlights. So 64 to 67, for example, we made strides towards space travel, which was huge. We landed on the moon in 1966. The Beatles took America by storm, which was really cool. Racial riots, definitely gripped the larger cities. Absolutely. That was a prominent theme when I was looking up this information. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was signed into law. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. led a civil rights march in Alabama in 1965. This one I found interesting. Northeastern U.S., including parts of Canada, were hit by a series of blackouts that lasted 13.5 hours. 30 million people were affected by this. That's huge. I'm certainly going to remember this for the next 3 years to see if something possibly similar sort of rocks our energy grids, so to speak. What else here? 1965, the Voting Rights Act was born. Now, this act ensured African Americans the right to vote becomes law. And I had to throw this in here, you guys. So TV shows, Batman, Days of Our Lives, and Star Trek was born. Now, why am I referencing, music and TV and stuff like that? So Saturn crystallizes. I'm probably going to touch on this later on too. I might repeat myself. Saturn crystallizes sort of anything it comes into contact with. So Saturn grounds. And what is Pisces? All about dreams. So, it just goes to show you, people had these ideas in their head, or bands had these ideas in their head, and they put them down on paper for words, or they put them down, like for these TV shows, they put them down. And look how huge Batman is. It's still going to this day. And Star Trek, anything to do with space, like any TV shows revolving space, Anyway, I had to just talk about those highlights there. Now, thinking about 93 to 96, again, I sort of looked back to see if there was any highlights in history. Again, thinking about Hollywood, Jurassic Park was born in 1993. I think that is just so cool. And again, Jurassic Park, they're still going with those films. This is really interesting. A 1 second adjustment was made to civil time. Why is this interesting? Because Saturn rules time, and Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. It's the last sign of the zodiac. So I find it interesting that back in the early 90s to mid 90s, they made this adjustment of time before Saturn moved into Aries, which is the beginning of the zodiac. Anyway, I find it very cool. The first group of women assigned to a U.S. Navy combat ship reported for duty on the USS Eisenhower. In 1994, the North American Free Trade Agreement was born, which was absolutely huge for Mexico, the US, and Canada. British and Dutch astronomers discovered a galaxy of 100 billion stars. So again, just more evolution with space in general. Galileo became the first spacecraft to orbit Jupiter. The FDA approved the first chicken pox vaccine. So Pisces also rules, like escapism or drugs, alcohol. Also illness falls into this house a little bit. So again, I found that very fascinating that a vaccine was born during this era. What else here? And then you guys, if you were around in the 90s or born in the 90s, big music artists from 1995, Backstreet Boys, Coolio, Janet Jackson, Madonna, Mariah Carey, Michael Jackson were big, like top world performers at that time. I know personally, absolutely, I had CDs of all those artists right there. So anyway, I hope that kind of helped to give you a bit of a feel of some possibilities that we could be looking at in the next 3 years here. Now, recently I had to add these into my notes because literally when I was writing my notes up for this video, I heard on my local news. So for those of you that don't know, I sit in Ontario, Canada. So on my local news, I heard British Columbia, Canada, which is another province in Canada, is doing a 3-year pilot program where they are allowing individuals, people, to have 2.5 grams of illicit drugs on them. So these are like hardcore drugs, you guys. So like opioids, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy. So they're doing this program or pilot program to try to decriminalize this. And to sort of remove that stigma that drug users ultimately face, right? So again, why do I find this interesting? Because they said a 3-year pilot program. Saturn's going to be in Pisces for approximately 3 years. So when Saturn moves into Aries, they're going to make a decision, right? And again, Pisces rules drugs, illusions, alcohol, basically anything to escape reality. And then there's Saturn bringing this into some sort of law or legal matter, like giving it structure. So are you kind of catching my drift as to, the feel possibly of what Saturn coming into Pisces, what might that mean for each and every one of us? And again, in countries as well, like as a collective. Also, it's so interesting. I heard this, and then literally a couple days later, again on my local news, I heard there's a motion to pass a law for assisted death in Canada. Again, this is by injection or a pill to expand to those people with mental illness. And Canada is one of the first countries that I'm aware of. I mean, if you've heard of this in your country, please put a comment down below. I'm fascinated by this because, again, they recently, announced this, that they're going to pass a law to expand to mental illness. Again, that's 12th house. That's psychological. And again, there's Saturn coming along, crystallizing these things and putting them into law, putting them into structure and form. So again, sorry to bore you with all these all these details, you guys. I find this really interesting because all you have to do is listen to your local news or read about it on the internet. And, some of this stuff you can kind of see already happening, which is just fascinating. Okay, so if you have your natal Saturn in Pisces, you're going to experience your Saturn return within the next 2.5 years approximately. So if you're between the ages of 27 to 30, you'll be experiencing your first return. If you're between the ages of 55, 58, this will be your second return. And 86 to 89 years old, you'll be coming up to your third return. Now, the first Saturn return is such a big milestone in all of our lives. It's definitely the maturing aspect, let's say. Definitely a life-changing event. Usually happens around this time. It's when we take a long, hard look at our life, whether it's conscious or not. We're examining where we are at this point in our lives. So this can really be anything. This could be career, this could be a relationship, this could be family, this could be home, this could be, really could touch any area of your life, even health for that matter. It is usually a wake-up call sometimes that comes along when you're least expecting it sometimes. Now, on the other side though, this could be a good thing. Like it just means that you're putting a ring on it, like you're getting married, you're starting a family, you're having your first baby, you're moving in together for the first time, you're moving out of mom and dad's nest, so to speak. So that could also represent a first Saturn return as some examples. Now, the second Saturn return, so again, ages 55 to 58 approximately, could, some of the similar topics could come up. It's definitely a reflection on, how far you've come, what have you accomplished, what have you not accomplished. It's sort of you're going to turn a critical eye on your life thus far. Now, this is also a time of retirement, possibly, or thinking about maybe leaving behind that full-time job and maybe doing part-time with some hobbies or memberships or volunteering more, getting out in the community more, however this pertains in your life. But this could also be a time where you do make a big pivot in your career, or again, this could really affect any area of your life. So, home, family, career, lifestyle, you name it. There is a possibility you might go through a slight depression bout. This isn't for everybody though, but I am just going to put it out there. Because again, like I mentioned, you're reflecting on what you accomplished and what you did not accomplish. And you might, because Saturn's so critical, you might focus on the negative versus the good. So if you are experiencing your second Saturn return in the next few years here, I just encourage you to focus on all that you've accomplished and focus on that and focus on transferring those skills to the new upcoming generation or grandkids or, again, people in the community or groups, associations, like somehow like you become the elder, so to speak. So transfer that knowledge that you've learned, that you gained onto other individuals. And trust me, it's going to make you feel good. It's going to give you life and spark back. Coaching is another thing that absolutely, like teaching, coaching would be another opportunity at this time that you can explore. So yeah, focus on sharing, less so on striving. Now, with that said, though, it doesn't mean you can't start a business at your second Saturn return. A really great example is Louise Hay, the founder of Hay House. From my understanding, she built Hay House, I think when she was around 60 years old. So that's around your second Saturn return. So it's not impossible, but I'm not saying you have to do it. It really depends on where you are in life. You'll know, you'll feel it in your gut, in your soul, in your spirit, and you do you. Just do what makes you happy and get out of a funk if you feel like you're in a funk. Okay, so Saturn works in 7-year cycles. And again, at these 7-year points in your life, you'll likely to experience, again, some sort of life-changing event. And this could really affect any area of your life. So health, well-being, career, money, love, relationships, work, you name it. Now, you don't even need your chart roughly to to think back or count the years. So it's by 7 years. So 7, 14, 21, 28, and then that's your first Saturn return. And then 35, 42, 49, 56, and then there's approximately your second Saturn return. And then 63, 70, 77, and 84, which is again your third Saturn return. Now keep in mind though, these are very, very, very extended transits. These are 7-year transits. So for example, they might not play out exactly at age 42 or at age 49. Like I said, this might actually happen before. That's something I personally noticed in my life is all these transits, Saturn included, always happen to be way before it's exact, way, way before. But that's just how my chart is interpreted or set up. It really depends, again, on the system you use, your chart, all that fun stuff. So I just want to be mindful of that. So if you are coming up to one of those ages I just said, don't start freaking out. Like, because again, it just means a change is coming. A possible change is coming your way. And again, these planets do not work against us. They work for us. We're the ones who work against the lesson. Okay, what else do I have here? Okay, so Saturn rules the 10th house of Capricorn, which is our career, our public reputation. It's the highest point in our charts. Also rules the parental axis, one of the planets that rule the parental axis. So this is more so male, like the male figures in our lives, but it could absolutely be female authority figures as well. And also Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius until, he shares that with Uranus, because Uranus was discovered in 1781. So Uranus is the modern ruler. Saturn is the ancient ruler. So again, Saturn functions very well in Capricorn and in Aquarius, which we just experienced, right? The last approximately, 6 to 7 years approximately. Okay, now Saturn represents restrictions, life lessons, stability, structures, time, responsibility, commitment, work, maturity, and patience. And also in the human body, Saturn rules the bones, the structures of the body, also our teeth, the spine, joints, and the skin, for example. So why am I telling you this? Because these areas of life, so 10th house, possibly 11th house, will add sort of another layer as to what is happening when Saturn is moving through Pisces. And it also depends on where your natal Saturn is as well, and if he's making any aspects to your natal Saturn as well. Now, since we're dealing with Pisces, so he's moving through Pisces, which is ruled by very dreamy Neptune and very expansive Jupiter. So as a collective, this is incredible energy. I mentioned it earlier, to bring your dreams into form, like crystallize those dreams, get them out of your head, so to speak, and get them out on paper, film, whatever it is that, your hopes, your wishes, your dreams that you want to bring into fruition, or, something that you want to bring to life. Again, this is starting sort of a new 29-year cycle for all of us, because this is housed in the 12th house as well. So as a collective, this goes as a collective as well. This is a fantastic transit. So you'll notice most of us, and also a collective, this is about wrapping up those loose ends. Again, before Saturn moves into Aries, this is about embodying the lessons that we've learned over the past 29 years and bringing those lessons with us into the future. Now, with this energy, there might be individuals, even ourselves, we might not want to take action on something because, again, this is Piscean energy. It's a little bit of a softer energy, and again, Saturn's a bit hard, right? So it's escapist energy is what I'm trying to get at with Pisces. So this energy might actually, you'll notice people might turn away from challenges. It's kind of like the, well, I don't want to look type of energy. You might actually notice that because, again, it's escapism energy. We might feel restricted in some way of something to do with needing support or comfort from individuals. All of us might seem a little bit cool to the touch, you know, because, again, that's Saturn, gives that sort of a cooler exterior type of appearance. We also might become less tolerant for those people who play the victim role or who have a victim mentality. And I don't mean to upset anyone by saying this. I try to keep it real in these videos and just honest and stick to the facts of possibilities. I also don't want these videos to be all fluff. You know, I really think it's a good thing to be prepared when it comes to these transits. Absolutely. And again, we got to take the good with the bad, you guys. That's just life. We can't just take all good, or all bad, right? Like, we have to find that balance. So yes, we might find that we're less tolerant with circumstances such as like victimhood or victim mentality. The good thing is there might be some more sort of rewards around real tangible help. Like, people will be more productive in some circumstances, which is awesome. But the bad thing is the emotional side might suffer a little bit if you understand what I'm getting at there. So yeah, emotions being vulnerable might take the back seat during this transit. Which is unfortunate because we are going to miss out on those human connections, right? And those circumstances and even, opportunities that we think that we can't really cope with or change, or again, whatever is presented to us in this transit. And people are going to be skeptical with anything to do with Piscean themes. So anything spiritual or anything that's that people find too out there. People will turn a critical eye to things such as like tarot and astrology, for example, for the next few years. Also, we're going to see a cultural awareness sort of waking up from the last 3 years. So did you mention earlier, I talked about racial riots and, certain acts being crystallized in the past during this transit? That's because with Saturn moving through Aquarius, which is that culture equality, we the people sign, right? So Saturn's carrying those lessons from Aquarius into Pisces, where he's going to crystallize those into law, legislation, whatever the case may be. So we'll probably see the next steps with certain things coming into law when it comes to, especially when it comes to racial matters. Like, we will absolutely see the next steps in that, which is fantastic. And also possibly something to do with the justice system, legal system. We might see more of that in the next 3 years, which is absolutely needed. With Pluto moving into Aquarius, it's coming. Regardless, of Saturn doing the work, Pluto is absolutely going to do the work from a global perspective on this. Also, with Saturn moving through Pisces, our egos are going to be just a little bit more diffused. We want to be of service, and we can sort of like quietly work away in the background, just sort of keeping to ourselves, putting in the hard, long hours and work. Also, you might notice in this transit, you'll find creativity in solitude, in being by yourself and just being more. I think people will want more quiet time with this transit. So again, because we're going to be a little bit cooler, exterior wise cooler from other people and from humanity. So, okay. Now, before I jump into every single sign, I want to talk about just some prominent angles here. So if you are a Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and I'm talking like sun, moon, ascendant, whatever you're watching for, this energy is going to be challenging you to take some action. So it's going to make you move. Likely there's going to be some sort of change in your life because, again, this is an aspect of tension. Nothing to be scared about, you guys. Nothing to be scared of. It's just that there's going to be some pressures and some tests in this area of your life. Now, if you're a Scorpio, Cancer, Capricorn, and Taurus, again, sun, moon, ascendant angles, whatever you're watching for, this energy will be more supportive because you are developing something, you're polishing something, you're trying to bring something into form, you're working on something. So the great news is the rewards are likely coming in if you did the work, though. Okay, only, Saturn likes it when people put in the hard, long hours. So it depends on how you've been utilizing this energy. Also, try not to pick up on bad habits during this energy as well, because this is energy of breaking old habits or testing old habits, but you might pick up new ones that aren't so great for you. So just be mindful of that. Now, if you're a Pisces, any planets, points, angles, obviously Saturn's going to be conjuncting them. So just be prepared for some tests. That's what Saturn is. Saturn likes resiliency, so Saturn will be testing you. Also, if you are a Pisces ascendant or sun, watch your health. Like, this will be a check up literally of your health. So do watch your health at this time. But yeah, Saturn's just going to be testing the foundations of this area of your life. So again, nothing to fear. I'm not trying to instill fear. I like to prepare you guys for this transit by giving you these general overview videos just to sort of give you something to think about at the very least. And this is including relationships, okay? So Saturn will be testing relationships, and if they're not built on a solid foundation, they will crumble, so to speak. And again, this is nothing to fear, because if you got a solid relationship, whether this is business, love, whatever, you have nothing to worry about. You have zero to worry about. Now, the best way to deal with difficult Saturn transits is to try to avoid fighting the lessons. Now, when I researched this, I kind of laughed about that, because I thought, well, how do you know what you don't know, right? That's definitely some hard lessons I've learned in my life, is like, well, I don't know what I don't know. But sometimes that's the lesson, right? And then you take that with you into the next house this Saturn moves, and the next house. And then when you have a prominent angle with your natal Saturn, you gather up all this experience, right? So eventually I kind of saw the light, I thought, oh, okay, this is how this works. So again, these planets don't work against us. They work for us. It's us who resists and works against the lessons because we're not heeding those lessons. So just keep that in mind. And also, Saturn wants us to put in the work, to put in the work, and those rewards will come. It's just going to come at a later time. And this is a fantastic period in your life, depending on where Saturn's transiting in your chart. It's time to build a solid foundation. It's time to build, a family home, or a family, or a career, or a good, solid financial base. That's all Saturn is technically trying to teach us. Also, especially if you are a Virgo or a Pisces, or if you are, if this is a challenging aspect, just accept that the next 2.5 years might move a little bit slower. You physically might move a bit slower, it's just, again, it's all about, are you going to fight the lesson, or are you going to accept the lesson? So if you can't go, don't worry about it. Your time will come. absolutely your time will come and your energy will pick back up. These transits are not forever, you guys. I know they feel like forever. I get it. But just keep that in mind. Energy, these planets are shifting every day, especially the personal planets. So this isn't like a lifetime of this sort of energy. And again, keep in mind, if you work with Saturn, if you put in the work, the rewards are greater than a Jupiter transit. I'm going to say that again. They're greater. Saturn's rewards are greater than a Jupiter transit if you put in the work, though. If you skirt by, forget it. And then you got to wait for another Jupiter transit. So, but yeah, Saturn's rewards are huge if you put in the work. Okay, let's go through each and every sign to see where you might see some tests, some restructuring or rethinking in at least one area of your life, and also where Saturn is going to help you build resistance in this area of life so you can take those lessons on as he moves along the zodiac wheel. Keep in mind, I'm using a whole house system. I use Western tropical astrology. So this is not going to resonate for every single one of you because there's so many different astrology systems out there and chart systems out there. So this isn't going to resonate with every single one of you. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Watch for your ascendant, sun, moon, to sort of pull all this information together for you. Okay, before we move on here, I got to take a drink. All right, Aries. Aries, this is happening in your 12th house of the unseen, healing, closures, karma, subconscious mind, secrets. So this transit is a very important cycle of reflection. It's also about spiritual transformation or something to do with your beliefs surrounding that, and more attention to mental and emotional health during this time. It is a time for facing your inner demons and tackling any sort of fears that undermine you in any way, shape, or form. You know, Saturn wants you to sort through the gunk and only take with you what you really need. This transit is preparing you for when Saturn moves into Aries in 2026. So this is preparing you for that, you know, brand new, you may as well say 29-year cycle. And you'll also notice, Aries, you might be dealing with more endings at this time versus beginnings. Now, don't get me wrong, when there's an ending, naturally there's a new beginning in something, but you just might notice it a little bit more during this transit. You also might want to isolate during this transit, which, you know, is pretty natural going through the 12th house. And I think this is going to be as a collective feel as well. With Saturn, the nice thing actually of this transit is with Saturn working sort of in the background, like a, you know, subconscious mind, for example, you might actually feel free of constraints because it might not exactly show in your external world. This is more of a transit you'll feel internally and of the unconscious mind. And do keep in mind this transit, you know, could also be revealing. So Aries, if you have any skeletons in the closet, they might come out during this transit. And again, for good or for bad, I don't know. It depends on how you've been living your life up to this point. And it also depends on the aspects Saturn is making to the rest of your chart. So this is definitely not going to be for every single one of you. You will be challenged or asked by Saturn to take care of unfinished business, to regroup, to process, and to heal. It's really important during this transit to clear yourself of regrets or what you perceive as failures and disappointments in your life up to this point. Try not to focus on this. Like, don't take this baggage with you, Aries, into your new cycle starting in 2026 with regards to Saturn themes. So try not to focus it. Acknowledge this because it's going to bubble up. Because again, Saturn's going to test this, right? So Saturn will test this, your subconscious mind, so to speak. So as they bubble up, work with a counselor, learn to let it go. You have to heal it and let it go. And a great time to focus on your mental health and well-being as well during this transit. Taurus, this is happening in your 11th house of friends, groups, communities, your hopes, your wishes, your dreams. So Taurus, basically, this is time to make your dreams a reality, or modify them, change them, or let them go altogether and start anew. It's a good time to see these things more clearly in this area of life, because again, naturally, Taurus, you're going to turn a critical eye to them. So this is a great time for making those future focused goals, those long-term solid goals. Put in the work towards those goals too, Taurus. Maybe you're wrapping up one goal and then now you can move on to the next, so put in the work during this transit. Because again, Saturn will reward, when it's your time. Okay. And yes, you're going to turn a critical eye to your current goals, your dreams. You're definitely probably going to revisit, revive, reconsider those goals and intentions that just don't support your level of growth. And if they don't, they're going to fall away naturally. Because again, Saturn's going to test this area of your life. So if it's weak, if it's built on a weak foundation, it's going to collapse and move away. Great time, Taurus, to clean up your social circles. So associations, communities, groups, friendships, whatever it is, these people, these groups, these memberships, these associations should lift you up, not bring you down, not be negative Nancy's, not be toxic. So now is the time to get rid of them. I know it sounds bad, but that's ultimately what Saturn is going to give you the option to do. So I'll leave that up to you, Taurus, on what if you want to cut those ties or if you want to continue with those friendships or associations or groups or whatever it is that you belong to. It's also a great time to take more responsibility, more accountability in these groups, associations, friendship circles that you belong to. This energy could also bring in some really solid people, some solid associations that can really, truly support you. Even old friendships from the past or groups and associations from the past actually could come back around during this transit and help you out, or maybe become your old new circle once again. So Taurus, Saturn will be making sextiles to your planets, placements, points, whatever you're watching for right now. So this is sort of an opportunity aspect for you, Taurus. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but opportunities will likely come in, and then it'll be up to you if you want to move towards them, reach out and grab them, do something with them. Okay, I'm just going to take a drink here. Gemini, this is happening in your 10th house of career, reputation, public image, your long-term goals. This is also the parental axis, Gemini. So more so the male authority figure in your life or male parent, but it absolutely could be mother or a female authority figure in your life. So Gemini, you're really, really going to feel driven during this transit to prove yourself, to achieve something incredibly solid when it comes to your career, public standing, reputation, whatever it is you do on sort of that day-to-day basis. And if you're saying to yourself, well, Stacey, I'm a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, that's your vocation. That's your job. So that's going to be coming front and center during this transit. Absolutely. What else here? your performance could actually become public in some way. So your day-to-day work could become public in some way during this transit. You'll likely be reevaluating your professional status at this time. Also, you're going to turn that critical eye to, your goals, your responsibilities, your day-to-day, what are visible signs of success to you? Are they working for you? Are you getting that in your life? All this is going to be tested. So also, Gemini, if you put in the work based on prior transits, you might actually be reaping huge rewards during your career at this time. You could be recognized in some huge way or publicly or something along those lines. I'm going to say you might have to make some critical choices during this period, and you might feel pressured or restricted to do that because, again, Saturn's going to be testing this career foundation. Also, critical choices not only about career, but your long-term goals and also your life path. What do you want to do? If you're in a career that you're not happy, now is the time to pivot. Absolutely. Because if you do find a job during this transit, it'll likely be for the long haul, which is, well, depending on your style. I know I would want a long haul job versus like changing careers every couple of years, but it just depends on your style. Because some people enjoy that. Some people enjoy changing careers up every couple of years because it keeps things exciting. So also, Gemini, you might find you're taking on more responsibility at this time. And again, this could be taking care of an elder or a parent, or again, more duties and responsibilities in the workplace will be downloaded to you. Now, the good thing is I feel like you'll be able to handle it, Gemini, but if you don't want to deal with it, because again, this is a test transit, you're going to be like, see you later, and you might switch careers. So do keep in mind, Saturn is squaring your energies during this transit. That's not the end of the world. It just means there likely will be changes in this area of life for you in the next 3 years or so. Cancer. This is happening in your 9th house of higher education, teaching, long distance travel, ethics, belief systems, meeting people from different cultural backgrounds. So Cancer, there can be some really important accomplishments in publishing, for example, or education at this time. Again, Saturn crystallizes, right? So bringing things onto paper, teaching is highly, highly favored during this time. Is it going to be easy? Yes and no, because I mean, this energy is trining your energy, but if you put in the work, Saturn's going to reward. Let's see here. So like I mentioned, opportunities to teach, or there could be an educational pursuit coming to an end, at least by the end of this transit, maybe not so much right now, or maybe something is coming to an ending right now, and then you're starting a new educational pursuit that might wrap up in 2026. Great time, Cancer, to build your skills and knowledge in an organized, structured way, because that's Saturn. And, overall, Cancer, the nice thing is about this energy, because again, it's trining, it's supporting your Cancer placements, whatever you're watching for. You might feel more stable and secure. Like you might feel like you have a better grip on your life, your day-to-day reality, your duties, responsibilities, your priorities, which is a blessing. Now, if not, again, depends on how you've been living your life, Cancer. So if it wasn't you, or that isn't you, you're just going to be challenged in this area to look at life in a more practical, realistic way. And again, Saturn's going to test this foundation, right? He's going to test your beliefs, your educational pursuits, which you already know, the knowledge that's already under your belt, whether it is new or old. Because it's definitely going to be, knowledge is going to be tested, absolutely. And don't worry, if it's built on a solid foundation, you have nothing to worry about. And I'm not saying you're going to crumble when it comes to educational pursuits. No, it just, again, Saturn is teaching you something, you know, building your knowledge in this area. And do keep in mind, if you are pursuing educational matters during these next 3 years, there might be on and off delays or disruptions in some way, shape, or form, again, because Saturn's testing this. Excellent time to take these lessons and move them into your career. So if you are in college or university, excellent time, you guys. Excellent, excellent, excellent time before, you know, taking that first job. I mean, this transit's really going to prepare you for that. So actually, this is a blessing for those Cancerians that applies to you. Let's see here. If you're looking for a more authentic belief system, you know, let go of what's not working. Seek out what supports you, Cancer, and what ultimately represents you. You'll definitely have that opportunity during this transit because, again, Saturn's going to test this for you. Okay, I just need to take a drink here. All right, Leo, as I fix my Leo mane here, pardon me. Okay, so Leo, this is happening in your 8th house of rebirth, sex, transformation, taxes, debts, loans, joint finances. So Leo, you are going to be challenged to clean up those things that you share with other people. So things like money, assets, property. Also, what's going to be tested is matters of dependency and also intimacy when it comes to your relationships. Fears of control, anger, resentment, power issues might come up at this time, again, for them to be dealt with. This is a fantastic time, Leo, to reduce debt or to organize your finances in some way. Great time to work with a financial advisor or an accountant. There might be a change in support. I'm thinking financially. So, you know, your partner, for example, maybe his or her or they, them, their income will reduce, therefore affecting you. Could go the other way too. Like, again, could go the other way. Your partner gets rich and then you get to reap the rewards of that. So again, it just depends on, you know, your chart, Leo, and how you've been living your life up until this point. So adjustments might have to be required when it comes to joint finances or property. You might discover, Leo, that you can live without certain things. You know, you might have the urge to purge, so to speak. So, you know, you might want to just really clean house and get rid of items. And this is an incredible transit to do that. This is, so for those Leos out there that are dependent on someone and the relationship's not, you know, it's sort of on shaky ground or there's power struggles, you know, this is a great transit, Leo, to empower you to stand on your own 2 feet. That Saturn's going to give you the power to do this. Is it going to be easy? Not really. But after this transit, like, it's going to be, you're going to feel incredible. Because again, Saturn wants you to build resiliency in this area of your life. And Saturn wants you to build those healthy attachments, you know, not those unhealthy attachments. Intimacy or emotional support might be lacking at this time because, again, Saturn is like, Saturn dries things up. It's a very dry sort of planet. So yeah, I'm just thinking of sex might dry up at this time, Leo, or it just might be limited or restricted in some way, shape, or form. Sexual issues could also come to the surface at this time. But again, Leo, I know this sounds like a Debbie Downer transit, but again, this too shall pass, first of all, and this transit really gets better as it flows through your 8th house. And again, this is going to affect every Leo differently because, again, it just depends on what you're watching for and your chart individually as well. Also, with Saturn moving through the 8th, we really become aware of like death, like our mortality. So that might come up for some introspection during this time. Depending on your age, you might really want to draw up a will during this transit. Fantastic time to do it because your mind will absolutely be sharp and focused on that. So great time to do up a will, or maybe talk to your family about it, talk to your kids about it. Great time to bring that up. Also, you might have a very strong stance as to what you need from other people. So this could be not only love relationships, but in business relationships as well. And this is a great transit to find healthy ways to interact with and depend on others or the other person in your life. Virgo, this is happening in your 7th house. Contracts, marriage, legal matters, business partnerships, basically anything to do with relationships. So Virgo, this puts Saturn opposing your sign, sort of holding up that mirror to you when it comes to relationships. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it, Virgo. This is definitely a relationship, what do you call it? A reality check in relationships. So, you know, the honeymoon might be over. Relationships, commitments, there's going to be tests surrounding this. Absolutely. You know, you might be letting go. Some of you are going to be letting go of a relationship during this transit. Because again, if it's not built on a firm foundation, it's going to crumble. Now, this isn't for all of you though. If your relationship is built on a solid foundation, this transit is going to take your relationship to the next level. This could be in business, you guys, or love relationships. Absolutely. Now, if you're in a good relationship right now and you're noticing, you know, the not so good side of relationships is bubbling up at this time, that's Saturn. You know, that's absolutely Saturn. Because again, like I said, the honeymoon phase is over during this transit, or it's going to test that absolutely during this transit. And Virgo, you're going to have to face them. You cannot run away from this transit. You're going to have to face them. And I just heard face the music. You're going to have to face them, own them, release them, or build on them stronger, or get a counselor and make the relationship stronger. A great question to ask yourself is, you know, what is your partner teaching you at this time? Again, the mirror, right? What is your partner really teaching you at this time? Now, for those of you, this could be a client. Okay, so in the business realm, this could be a client, could bring this heavy, demanding energy into your life. So do be mindful of that. And again, this transit doesn't last forever, so it will pass. Now, if you're not in a relationship right now, Virgo, first of all, if you're not, then this transit definitely will show up in the workplace. Absolutely. Or whatever it is you do on a day-to-day, whether you own a business or work for someone, this is going to show up in your clientele or whoever the people it is that you work for. Now, if you are single, it's very unlikely you're going to carelessly fall into a relationship during this time, because you will have that critical eye on Virgo, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if you do enter a relationship at this time, you'll likely take it very slow. And again, nothing wrong with that, because that's Saturn, just that caution, you know. You might be attracted to older, more established individuals during this transit, because again, that's Saturn, that mature yet stable, solid energy. And if you make a commitment during this time, again, whether in business or love, you know, put a ring on it, Virgo, this is going to be a long-term relationship, which is beautiful, incredible, absolutely. So that's the one positive about this relationship. Okay, let's see what else here. yeah, so this cycle is also about agreements, negotiations, boundaries, and being clear with yourself and with other people on what you want and what you need. And you should be able to clearly articulate that, Virgo, which is a good thing that Saturn brings to this house. Uncertainty, you're going to find it's not going to be tolerated. You're not going to tolerate wishy-washy crap in your life, especially when it comes to relationships or negotiations or contracts. You'll want black and white, clear-cut language, for example. Anything to do with another person, your tolerance level is going to be like, again, nothing bad. Absolutely, because again, you're learning those boundaries and what you want and what you need. Also, Virgo, I do have to say it, with Saturn opposing your energy, especially if he's opposing your sun, or ascendant, watch your health. This is going to be a test of your health. I just went through this. Saturn just opposed my sun, and I didn't die or anything like that, but I got sick. Like, it slowed me down. Saturn slowed me down during this transit, and it's opposing, but I found like I didn't really have a lot of energy, the last couple years. Like, it would come in spurts, but I really noticed when Saturn opposed my sun, it slowed me down. And yes, I did get sick. I wasn't hospitalized. It was, it was just the flu or a cold. But take care of your health, Virgo. Please take care of it. Don't, you don't have to listen to me. Virgo, you don't have to listen to me, because Saturn's going to be testing this. I'm just warning you. So, make sure you're getting enough sleep, enough exercise. Yes, I'm going to say that to you. Eat well, try to eat well, and get lots of water into your body, because Saturn really dries us out depending on where this is transiting in our charts. And for you, make sure you get that water in you. Okay, Libra, I'm just going to take a drink here. Okay, Libra, this is happening in your 6th house of day-to-day work, your health, your fitness, your pets, your day-to-day responsibilities, duties, obligations. So Libra, you're really going to be challenged and tested to adjust your day-to-day activities, work, your routines, your health, your habits, your self-care routines. Saturn's going to test, are you taking care of, your body? Now, Libra, I hate to say it, but you will likely take on more during this transit. Because again, Saturn's teaching you about boundaries. So if you are a yes person, yikes. Like, this is not really the time to say yes, 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 yes to everything. Yes, you'll have to take on additional duties, responsibilities, obligations, whatever. But you don't have to do it all, Libra. So just keep that in mind. By the end of this transit, that might come around to bite you in the butt. But again, you do you, Libra. I'm just here to kind of tell you what energy you could be working with. And again, it depends on what you're watching for as well. So yeah, set up those boundaries. Any endeavors that you take on right now, or if you started, for example, a new job right now, rewards will come. I don't know if they're going to come in this transit. Maybe by the time Saturn hits your 10th house or something like that, but rewards will definitely occur if you put in the work and the effort, because Saturn loves that. During this transit, I don't recommend to let your responsibilities pile up, and then you're like overwhelmed, and then you're like freaking breaking down from a health perspective. Time management is really critical during this time, Libra. I'll give you a very simple example. Say you're a busy dad or a busy mom. You got a busy household, you got kids, you got pets, you got to cut the damn lawn and whatever, maintain the house. See if, I don't know, you can hire somebody to vacuum carpets or clean up, tidy up, or something like that. Or if your kids are old enough, great time to get them into a routine to help you out around the house. Again, to help you manage your time a little bit more effectively. Work could be a little bit difficult at this time, like it might be a pain in your ass, so to speak, at this time. Again, this too shall pass. It's just that you might find that work might annoy you a little bit more during this time, because again, you're turning that critical eye to your day-to-day everything, basically. So this includes day-to-day work. Now, if you're looking for another job at this time, obviously you'll want long term, and you'll likely find it. Now, don't get discouraged if nothing comes up for you during this transit, or maybe something will come up for you at the end of the transit. Again, Saturn's trying to teach you something, right? So just heed those lessons. Again, you might not understand the lesson until after this transit, but it is a great time to look for a job. And if you do sign on the dotted line, it's going to be long term. Absolutely. Libra, you got to watch your health during this transit. This is the sixth house of your health. It's also similar to when Saturn is opposing your sun or your ascendant. Health issues might come up during this time, so you got to pay attention to them. Don't ignore anything to do with the body during this transit. Not a good thing to ignore, because they're just going to get louder and louder and worse until you collapse. I don't mean to scare you, but like Saturn and Pluto, for that matter, have this energy of stopping you in your tracks and bringing you to your knees if you do not listen to your body. So again, you do you, Libra. I'm just here to sort of warn you and prepare you for these energies. Fantastic, fantastic time for new health regimes, new exercise routines, Libra. Fantastic time. Anything you start, you'll have the structure, the stamina to keep doing it. So this is a great time to clean up your diet or get into an exercise routine or whatever is healthy for you. Good time to set up those boundaries, because again, lots of duties and responsibilities might be coming at you left, right, and center. And part of the lesson here that Saturn's trying to teach you is to set up those boundaries and to be like, no. You don't have to say no to everything. You do you, but, boundaries, set up those boundaries, simplify your life as best as you can, and incorporate balance into your day-to-day. And I know that's easier said than done. Trust me, I struggle with this all the time, but we have to bring that balance into our lives. We have to make time for things. Make time for activities, hobbies, fun times, trips, whatever the case may be. And yeah, work on establishing better habits as a whole. Just don't pick up old habits or bad habits, Libra. This energy is also if you pick up a bad habit like smoking or, eating a bunch of donuts or something like that. The bad thing is that habit will stick with you. It'll be harder to break down the road. So please be mindful of that. Just think with this transit, because it touches everything in your life, Libra, anything you start right now is going to be in it for the long haul, for good or for bad. Okay. So take it higher, take advantage of that good energy with Saturn there. Scorpio, this is happening in your 5th house of children, love affairs, creativity, self-expression, drama, fertility, gambling. So Scorpio, this is a really great time to focus on 1 or 2 projects or commitments and do them very, very, very well. I'm thinking like hobbies, things that you love to do. It's definitely quality over quantity during this transit. Great transit to turn a hobby, a passion into a business or a career in some way, shape, or form, because Saturn's going to give you that stamina. A really great time, Scorpio, for meaningful relationships. With Saturn supporting your sign, this can be a stable and responsible period for your life overall. So I feel like Scorpio, first of all, you need this transit. And it's going to be very supportive, very beautiful. Now, with that said, though, it really depends on how you've been living your life up to this point, Scorpio. So just do keep that in mind. So I'll just give you a quick example. If you've been, overindulging in creative activities or hobbies or entertainment or flings for that matter, or overspending on your kids, this area is going to be tested, and Saturn will make you rein them in some way, shape, or form. Psychological issues might come up during this transit, such as, am I worthy? Am I worthy of love and affection, for example? You might feel ignored or neglected during this transit, whether that's by, your partner, your lover, or your kids in some way, shape, or form. I wouldn't recommend, Scorpio, looking outside of yourself to feel good about yourself. That might really actually backfire on you and make you feel freaking worse. So try not to do that. What else here? The good thing about this transit, Scorpio, is after this transit, you'll learn you do not need other people's approvals to feel good about yourself. You'll be able to stand on your own. And again, this isn't for everyone. It's just for those individuals that sort of need that confidence boost. And what else here? Romantic relationships will likely be tested at this time. Some may have to go, Scorpio. I'm going to just put it out there. But if you are in a solid relationship, a solid long-term relationship, yes, there's going to be tests. But once this transit passes, if it's meant to be, if you're solid, it's just going to become that much more structured, ingrained in the relationship, and you'll be fine. I'm thinking more so, because this is the 5th house, I'm thinking flings. Like if you're out there dating like 5, 6, 7 people at the same time, I'm guessing that might come to a halt, or that might burn you in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, that will likely stop. That's what I'm more so thinking. But in general, this is going to test your romantic relationships, period. Now, some of you might be welcoming a new child into the family at this time. Now, with that said, Scorpio, if you're not looking to have any more kids, take those steps so you don't get your partner pregnant, or you don't get pregnant. Just be mindful of this energy, because that energy is there for sure. Because again, Saturn crystallizes and brings things into form. So yeah, it's either going to be you or your partner. If you're watching for your partner, they're going to be more fertile at this time. Now, also, Scorpio, if you've been too tolerant or lenient with other people at this time at your own expense, and this is also including your kids, now's the time to balance things out. Set those boundaries up. Just be mindful of that. It's okay to say no, even if it's, with your kids, for example, which can be difficult at times. Let's see here. Speaking of kids, demands surrounding your children at this time might increase. You might really notice it, especially your firstborn, your oldest child. It really could be any child, but this specifically could be your oldest at this time might be a little bit demanding. But again, it could be any of your kids, and it doesn't matter the age. Does not matter the age. Now, if you're single, you might be attracted to more older, more established individuals, because that's Saturn, mature energy, solid, stable in their own energy. And also, if you are dating during this transit, if you are single during this transit, you will move slowly. You will be cautious about dating. You might also find that there's slim pickings, so you might get like little bit of a critical eye towards like the dating world when it hasn't changed at all, Scorpio. That's going to be you. That's going to be you internally changing those attitudes and beliefs towards dating, because you're going to be pickier, and there's nothing wrong with that. You might notice it during this transit. Okay, Sagittarius. I'm just going to grab a drink here. Okay, Sag. This is happening in your 4th house of family, home, roots, self-care, property. This is also the parental access. So this could be mom. This is more mom, female energy, but it absolutely could be father type of energy as well. So Sag, this is pretty straightforward. You got to strike a balance between family, home life, and work life, which is easier said than done, right? So Saturn will be testing the foundations, literally, of your life during this 3-year transit. Now, you might start a new career or start a new business at this time, and I'm going to guess it probably will be home-based, possibly. Anything to do with the home, your family, any sort of personal matters, parenting, or food, nutrition might require your attention, better discipline, just more practicality and better structures around these areas of life. Because again, Saturn's going to test. And Saturn's going to make you more resilient in this area of your life as well. Now, Sag, keep in mind, Saturn is squaring your placements, whatever you're watching for. So this is not going to be the easiest transit for you, but you'll survive. You might find that this energy is just a little bit more burdensome at this time, but whether it's family, or again, a parent could be bringing a little bit more heavier energy into this area of life. Now, excuse me, you might be exploring your roots more during this time. A parent might need your assistance more at this time. If moves are made during this time, Sag, just be prepared for delays. And when you're looking at homes, literally look at the foundation of the home, the structure of the home. I know that sounds weird, but sometimes this energy plays out very, very literal, such as in your case, the foundation of the home might be very weak. So you have to look out for that, especially if you're buying property or home during this transit. Great time for renovations, reorganization of the home, security, family, whatever the case may be. Whatever your heart's desire, like you create the space you want, Sagittarius. Home maintenance will likely increase at this time because, again, Saturn's going to literally test the foundations of your home. Now, even if you're in an apartment or condo, trust me, this energy will manifest in very interesting ways, even if you do not own the place that you're living in right now. This energy has the possibility of disrupting your life in some way, shape, or form. And I don't mean that as doom and gloom. I just mean that as just a heads up. So yeah, mechanical breakdowns are, likely during this transit related to the home. Just don't ignore it, Sagittarius. If there's anything right now that comes to mind, fix it. Get it fixed before it becomes critical. There might be some delays or issues experienced with your health, or anything to do with your flexibility, like, I don't know, working from home or again, that work-life balance, or even your career. Because again, this is a real focus on your home life. So this transit could naturally put strain on your 10th house of career. There's going to be times, Sag, that you might feel unmotivated during this transit, and that's okay. This too shall pass. Don't go till you hit a wall. Just do what you can. As I said earlier, fantastic time for home renovations, repairs, or improvements of, again, your living situation, your space to make things better. And just keep in mind, Sag, rewards will come at a later time. Keep in mind, 2026 is when Saturn's going to move into Aries. This is going to trine your energy. So I feel like at this time, you could be reaping some of the rewards that you've put in the last 7 years, if you count back from 2026. So Capricorn, let me just take a drink here. Okay. Caps, caps, caps. This is happening in your third house of the mind, communications, transportation, siblings, cousins, neighbors, relatives, short distance traveling. So Capricorn, you might feel overwhelmed with the day-to-day hustle bustle during this transit, or it might just annoy you in some way, shape, or form, because there might be disruptions, delays. You're going somewhere and there's a construction, and then you go another avenue and there's construction, and it's like, God, that's sort of this type of energy. You might also, Capricorn, feel some pressure to produce ideas and sort of make sure they succeed when it comes to, really any area of your life. I mean, career comes to mind, obviously, because that's very important to Capricorns, but this could be other areas of your life as well. If you're a writer, just be mindful that this screams writer's block, okay? I'm not saying this is going to be a 3-year writer's block, but just be mindful of Saturn test. Again, Saturn tests, right? So Saturn's going to be testing this area of your life and testing your creativity, so to speak. So mind blockages might be there, restrictions might be there when it comes to this area. There might be some tension or people blocking your growth during this transit, and it might come from relatives, siblings, cousins, or even neighbors during this transit. You'll be looking at your relationships with this group of people or this group of peoples as well, because again, you're going to be turning a critical eye towards these individuals, again, siblings, cousins, neighbors, community. Or on the flip side, you could be really strengthening your relationship with these individuals too, which is fantastic. You'll find, Capricorn, you won't really have patience for that idle chit chat during this transit. You'll want to dive into more deeper, authentic conversations. Do watch out for transportation breakdowns. I do take this energy quite literally. So, Saturn's going to be testing your transportation, literally, whether it's walking, whether it's biking, whether it's taking the bus, or whatever the case may be. Watch out for those mechanical breakdowns, just delays, general issues getting around. If you do own a vehicle or even a bike, if there is a mechanical issue, don't ignore it. Get it checked out, because this transit has the energy of just leaving you high and dry, literally somewhere on the highway or in town, and you're trying to get to work and you're like, oh my God, this damn car just broke down. So just be mindful of that energy. And again, try to laugh, Capricorn, when this happens, or if this happens to you. Let's see here. Also, I do want to also caution, if you do walk to work or walk anywhere, be really mindful of the foundation you're walking on, if that makes sense. Also, make sure you have proper footwear, because again, this could, I wouldn't want to see any accidents happening. I'm not saying they're going to happen, but just be mindful, because again, this is your day-to-day, how you get around, right? And if you walk everywhere, well, be mindful of the sidewalk, be mindful of the road. Is it icy? Is it slippery? Is there glass on the road? Are you wearing flip-flops versus sneakers? Just pay attention to stuff like that. Excellent transit for finding your voice, adjusting your communication style. Also excellent for structured, organized learning. Saturn will help you with this, which is fantastic. And, speaking of studying, this can be a significant time for you if you are studying or training. This is really good for detailed work. And actually, you're going to accomplish quite a bit during this transit, Capricorn. And the cool thing is, well, this is your planet. You are ruled by Saturn. Saturn's going to be making sextiles to your Capricorn points or placements, whatever you're watching for. So this is an opportunity aspect, Capricorn. So things might come in, and it's up to you whether you want to reach out and grab them and take advantage of the energy, or just, let them pass you by. That's sort of this type of energy. But do keep in mind, Saturn will be testing this area of your life. So your ideas, your studies, your educational pursuits, how you communicate, what words do you use to articulate yourself, and how they're used. How are your words used? Also how you relate to other people. All of this is going to come up for some introspection during this time. So just be mindful of that, and anything that's not working will naturally fall away, Capricorn, and you'll be building some new structures in this area of your life. Aquarius, let me just grab a drink here. Aquarius, this is happening in your second house. So Aquarius, I'll back up here. You just experienced this in your first house. So congratulations, you made it. I hope you set yourself up for the next 29 years for success, of course. So anyway, now Saturn's moving on to your second house of money, work, finances, your income, your values, your material possessions. Saturn is, yes, he's taking pressure off, your body. Your first house matters, which is a blessing. But now he's going to be turning that critical eye to your material possessions and your wealth and your work as well. So keep in mind, Aquarius, celebrate this point in time right now because Saturn will not return to your sign for another 28 to 30 years. So that's just incredible to think about, right? So you should definitely feel more freer in self-expression and definitely more mature, Aquarius. Definitely more mature. I have no doubt Saturn sort of matured you in at least one area of your life. So what else do we have here? Keep in mind, Aquarius, depending on how you've been living your life, this transit could be associated with a financial loss. And I don't mean that to scare you. I just mean that, I like to prepare you guys for these energies. So just do keep that in mind. Because again, Saturn's literally going to tighten the belt in the old money bank during this transit. Sorry. So, but more importantly, during this transit, it's how you review, restructure your financial situation or circumstances when it comes to finances, if there are any losses. Gains could be a little bit slower during this transit. And again, this too shall pass, Aquarius. This is not a forever energy. It's definitely a great time to make the connection between your feelings of self-worth and what you contribute to the world and what you receive back from the world. Aquarius, not a good time to seek external validation from the outside world. This might come back around and bite you. So just, you need to look within more so for that validation versus seeking that external validation, because I don't think you're going to like what you get back, is what I'm trying to say. Excellent time to use this transit to build a solid financial foundation. 100%. Actually, if I could sum up this whole transit, that's what I would say is building a solid foundation during this transit. Excellent time for budgeting. Excellent time to work with a financial advisor or an accountant. Look at where your money is going, coming and going. What can go? If you got 6 sports cars in the garage, do you really need that? Like, what value are they bringing into your day-to-day life? That's just an example. What can you get rid of that your material possessions, what can go that you just don't need anymore? Now, on the flip side, though, Aquarius, this is an excellent time for acquiring quality long-term items. And I'll give you an example, a simple example, buying a home. Right? That's usually a long-term investment that pays off in the long run, right? Especially if you do renovations or whatever. So that's a really great example. And also, it's going to strap it's going to restrict your finances for a few years. If you have to take out a mortgage. I mean, if you can pay cash for a house in this day and age, bonus, you know. But yeah, mortgage restricts you, so that could also fall under this house. But again, it's a quality item, you know, so it's worth that purchase. It's worth that mortgage, you know. What else here? And this is a great transit. You're going to be, you know, earning a level of respect from your relationships, you know, and this could be in work and also your personal life as well. Okay, Pisces. Sorry, I just got to take a drink. Pisces, this is happening in your first house of physical appearance, the ego, the identity, your body, your home, your attitude, your style, your clothing. So Pisces, you are the star of the show. This is such an important transit for you. Overall, if I could just sum up this transit, you're going to get your shit together, Pisces. You're going to get your shit together so you can take these lessons with you for the next 30 years. Because just think, once 2026 comes and Saturn moves on, he's not coming back to your sign for another 30 years approximately. So this is just such an important transit in your life. And because it's the first house, this energy could go any way, Pisces. Like, it could literally touch any area of your life. So do keep that in mind. Now, you, Pisces, will likely discover your independence during this transit. You might find you have to rely more so on yourself during this transit, and that's okay. Because again, Saturn is giving you that resiliency to be resilient and to take these lessons throughout the rest of your life. You know, take the initiative on things. Saturn will help you with that, absolutely. You're going to be learning about your true capabilities, like your true capability. Your personal responsibilities day to day are probably going to increase, and that's okay because you'll be able to take them on head on. You'll have to put in the effort to improve or maintain your health. Excuse me. Also, you're going to have to put in the effort when it comes to personal matters or relationships. Because again, this could touch any area of your life. Saturn is going to be putting you through some tests. Now, in terms of career, the work you complete during this transit will absolutely lay the foundations for you, for your future success. So always keep that in mind when it comes with Saturn. Remember, I said earlier, delayed rewards that are greater than Jupiter, if you put in the work. Again, you're not going to see immediate success during this transit. You're not going to see immediate results because this is the first house. So you're starting a brand new 30-year cycle, Pisces. So, for example, you might not see maybe blessings or opportunities for another 6 years or so when Saturn is sextiling or trining, for example, your energies. Well, and it also depends on your chart, right? Because he might be sextiling or trining energies, you know, in 2026, for example. Now, this transit might bring up issues surrounding your personal identity and your self-image. Fantastic time to lose weight and clean up your diet and exercise routines when Saturn is transiting the first house, which is fantastic. You know, those rings, think of those rings and the skinny waist. He's constricting you, making you work out and get healthy. Let's see here. Yeah, not a good time, Pisces, to seek validation from the outside world. You got to look within during this transit. And if you do look for that external validation, it might come back and bite you in the butt, or you're not going to like the response you get from the public or whatever it is that you're seeking that validation from. And I know I said this earlier. I'm going to say it again. At some point, Pisces, Saturn is going to conjunct your sun, your ascendant, depending on what you're watching for. You might really feel your age during this transit, especially if this is your true first house. or the house of your sun sign, sorry, you might really feel your age, regardless of your age. Like this transit will really restrict your energy. And again, just let it flow. Like, now, this is why I'm doing these videos. You have the education now to just know, the knowledge now to just slow down the next 3 years. If you go, and you feel yourself slowing down, just slow down with that energy. Take it in. Focus on your health and well-being. Great time to do that, because that's what Saturn's asking you to do. So I can't emphasize enough, watch your health during this transit, especially if your ascendant or sun is in this area of Pisces. Also watch your bones, your teeth, and your spine. Really good time actually to get dental work done. I actually did this when, Saturn was transiting my ascendant. I got Invisalign, and it was, a bit of a pain in the ass, but I'm so glad that transit came and gone, just like the Invisalign, right? So really good time, anything to do with, your teeth, your bones, your spine, great time to, again, healthcare, right? Like hook yourself up with a good chiropractor, or if you want to do some reconstruction with your teeth, excellent time to do it when Saturn is transiting your first house. And a great way to handle Saturn's transit, especially this transit, meet your responsibilities and duties head on. If you run away from them, trust me, they're going to catch up to you. Like, you just can't run from this transit, and you can't run from Saturn. So just when issues come up in your life, Pisces, you got to just face them head on, because that's Saturn. That's Saturn testing it, right? Great time to take a closer look at the areas of your life that is so-called slipped through the cracks. Listen to your feelings of disappointment or frustration, because they will likely come up during this time. But again, don't let this turn into grief, anger, or regret. Just, they're bubbling up for a reason. Heal them, acknowledge them, let them go. Yeah, focus on making improvements in your life. And again, keep the long term in mind. This is a 30-year cycle for you, Pisces. You're just starting it. It's brand new, fresh energy starting in March. Trust me, rewards will come to you at a later time. Absolutely. Set those long-term goals. And also keep in mind, if you're the type of person where emotions get the best of you, I know I can be guilty at that, absolutely. Keep in mind that energy might backfire on you. So just be mindful of that energy, because Saturn is not going to reward impatience or intolerance. So again, we're dealing with mature authority type of energy here. So Saturn's trying to wise you up and mature you. That's another thing. Saturn will absolutely mature you moving through the first house. And I'm not saying you're immature, but you'll really notice it in 2026 when you look back, how much Saturn has really evolved your personality, because again, this is the first house. So I know I said this 100 times. This is setting you up for the next 28 to 30 years. Take advantage of this, Pisces. Take advantage of it. Is it going to be easy all the time? No. Is it going to be hard all the time? No. This is a true balancing act with Saturn. He's trying to bring in that balance into your life and boundaries into your life. So, and that mature, solid, stable energy. So take advantage, you guys. Take advantage of this energy. All right. So that is it. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this video. I truly appreciate it. And I love all your comments and, stories. So let me know how I read each and every one of them. So let me know how Saturn is, testing you, dare I say, transforming you in at least one area of life, and teaching you resiliency. He's really trying to toughen all of us up personally and also as a collective. So Anyway, also keep in mind, these are really general readings, you guys. Otherwise, I could be doing this for like 18 hours or longer. So just keep in mind, very general transits, whole sign, whole house astrology, Western tropical astrology is what I use. So just keep that in mind as well. Take what resonates, leave the rest. You know, I can't wait to hear about all your stories, especially, you know, a couple years into this transit. And enjoy your Saturn transit. Enjoy this energy of rebuilding, restructuring, maturing in at least one area of our lives. It's going to be a great, great transit. So we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.